Hello and good afternoon, good morning, and in some places, good night. How you doing? Welcome to Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and it is great to be here, folks. We are on the cusp of Xbox's biggest release since Halo 3. Codes have been sent out left, right, and center. People are playing it. They are previewing it. It is getting the buzz behind Starfield. I turned on social media this morning, and for like the fifth or sixth day in a row, Starfield is once again trending with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of tweets, and as well as it's people are getting excited. Wow, the salt mines apparently have been opened up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the salt mines are growing. I mean, listen, I said this in the green room, folks. If you are only a PlayStation player and you do not want, if you're suffering from FOMO, don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer by yourself. Buy an Xbox and play Starfield or play on your $5,000 rig that you own, that you told us you own. I don't see why anyone would want to miss this. I think that if you are in the camp of, putting your stake in the salt mine ground, saying that I'm just not going to play this because it's an Xbox game, you're dumb. You are just dumb, and you are not a gamer. Get involved, have a conversation, enjoy gaming for what it's supposed to be, folks. It's fun. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be excited, and I'm excited. As you can see, I'm wired. We have a lot of guests here today. Infinite Umbra is running behind. He will also be joining us. Folks, we have a great show for you. We're talking Gears of War. We're talking Call of Duty. But of course, we're talking Starfield. And let me introduce the guests first. Making his debut on the channel for the first time, Eternal Shaddai. What's going on, my brother? Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you for this warm welcome. I really do appreciate it. This is going to be actually my first experience with this awesome panel. Sometimes I feel kind of small for some reason, but hey, it's all about experience, and I'm ready for this topic. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, listen, it's great to have you a part of the show. Obviously, you're always in the chat. You happen to be listening at lunch when we do these shows during the day, which is great. So it's really great to have you a part of today's show. So thank you so much for joining us. And one of the best voices outside of Crispy Bomb in the business, Silent Cypher. He could basically play Master Chief if he wanted to. What's going on, Silent? How you feeling, brother? Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Boomstick. I'm doing great, man. Super stoked to be here. Super happy that I'm already on my weekend. So, gonna get some gaming in this weekend. It's gonna be good. But before that, I get to hang out with you guys, which is always a highlight. Shout out to Eternal Shaddai being on here too. My brother from Xbox International en Español.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome to have some of the family in the house today. But I'm stoked, man. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. Crispy Bomb. It just so happens you're here. And guess what? We have some really hot off the presses Gears of War news, thanks to the one and only Colt Eastwood, who didn't just confirm it, he confirmed it. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Oh man, I was like, dude, you best not be messing with me. I was like, because I know a lot of people that really could use playing the trilogy, the original trilogy in UE5, that's what he said. And I mean, we're gonna get into it.
To relish dude, in that, but
yeah, but that's something special. And also the salt field is going to be an interesting topic as well. So let's get into it.
Yes. So I mean, it's funny because I saw some people calling it Saltfield instead of Starfield, which is just hilarious. Dreadpool, thanks for joining us, dude. You're here, you're exhausted, but you're here nonetheless to talk about Gears, some Modern Warfare conversation, if we can get it in, of course, because originally it was going to be Modern Warfare was going to be a big part, but turns out that we got to get into the Starfield talk because there is really a lot to get into. How are you feeling, and what did you have for breakfast, sir?
Oh yeah, so good morning, everyone. I am burnt out.
Yeah, you sound it. Here. You definitely sound it.
But I love you guys, so that's why I'm here. I'm suffering and and happiness with you, talking about a game that I am not interested, but have over time become more and more interested in. And I tell you what, I think Todd has actually created something special.
Oh yeah.
And
This
when
is his.
I say that for the ponies. I think he created a salt planet for them, so that way they can collect their tears. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, speaking of food, I had a nice little cut of steak, some roasted potatoes, some fried up green beans with some feta on there, and a whole bunch of different seasoning that my wife decided to put. She did all the cooking this time, and that was my breakfast
Well,
with some
that
straight up
sounds quite
water.
tasty.
Yeah.
Quite a tasty breakfast. But again, I don't think I can eat that heavy this early in the morning. My God, your stomach's got to be cast iron.
Ah,
When you talk about Todd Howard, there's no doubt that if you were to ask him, and he's a bit of a humble dude, like the guy never thinks himself anything more than a kid in a candy store making games, right? That's when you ever listen to any of his interviews, that's how he is. His magnum opus has been delivered, folks. It has been delivered to us. Some people are playing it right now. No one can talk about it. Obviously, embargoes don't lift until the 31st. And then we'll get reviews, we'll get hot takes, we'll get opinions, we'll get some videos. Listen, it's the buzz is real. It's strong. But Fuzzy, before we get into it, let's welcome you to the program. How the heck are you, my friend? Welcome.
Oh, I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. Glad we got Eternal Shaddai and Silent Cypher on here today. Man, it's going to be a good one. And with all the stuff happening on the app formerly known as Twitter, it's the extra entertainment before we get the game release the end of this month. But man, it's been a good one these past couple of days. But let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, and let's go right into Gears, folks. Colt Eastwood, I think you might know him. He has 151,000 subscribers. The guy makes some of the best video content in the business. There's no doubt about it. His video expertise is top notch. I'm good friends with Colt. I had the pleasure of not only meeting him and his wife in person at E3 2019. I've had him on the show numerous times. I've been on his show numerous times. He put out a video this week that completely blew the doors off of what to expect from Xbox Game Studios in the next 2 to 3 and years, maybe even a little bit further out. But what he confirmed, Crispy Bomb, I had to rewind it, listen to it again, and be like, let me just hold on just a second. Let me just listen to it a third time. And I heard it and I said, okay, this is what we're running with on today's show. Folks, Colt Eastwood has confirmed that the coalition is working on 2 projects right now. One of which, let's call a spade, Gear 6, very expected. No tremendous surprises. But after speaking about Gear 6, Crispy Bomb, he confirmed that the Gears of War collection, which is going to comprise of Gears 1, 2, and 3, the Marcus Phoenix collection, as we've been hearing, is not only currently being worked on, dude, it is being worked on and being remade from a-hole to elbow in Unreal Engine 5. Like, are we serious? Because that's how you make a remake. That is how you do it. And when we get this game, people who have never experienced Gears, at least the first 3, which most consider one of the most prevalent trilogies in gaming, are going to be able to experience this game in Unreal Engine 5. Are you freaking kidding me? Let's talk about it.
I mean, well, to do it right, you had to do it that way. And I think that's why we talked about this almost 2 years ago, I feel like. So, and it's one of those things, like, I heard it was happening, then I heard they canceled the game. Then I saw the amount of support they were doing for all these other studios. I was like, what are they actually doing here? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to really master UE, especially the 5th version of UE, you need to do it the right way and rebuild these games that, I mean, really, even with them turning on the servers and stuff, which piqued some interest and stuff like that, especially, you know, Gears 3 was dedicated servers. People have argued with me about this. They are dedicated. Yes, they need to change the game a little bit. They need to make it more fluid. Some of these games, like you have such screen shake that you feel like you're running rampant and you don't really know what's going on. At least for the people that don't play Gears like we do, you know, some of us have and stuff like that. So I looked at it and I was like, but are you messing with me right now? Because he hasn't said a word really about the Phoenix collection until then. And I'm like, you're in Redmond for a reason. I don't know why. You don't really say much, but you're right next to the headquarters.
He certainly is. He's actually been there. He's been invited to there. I mean, come on.
You know, did you finally get the okay from Microsoft to say, you know what, you could throw this out there because we know that there's a lot of hype for this, and also people think it's dead. And I said, don't mess with my Gears, and all he did was retweet it. And I was like, okay, that's confirmation enough for me. And I'm just, you know, like he's saying sometime next year it'll be announced. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, he actually said in the video we're going to see it.
Big show.
We're going to see both of them next year, Crispy. Again, and here's the thing: if this is mom and pop Joe Sunday's video game shop, maybe we don't believe him, right? You say, yeah, I don't know who they are, but you know what? It's a rumor. Let's talk about it. But when Colt freaking Eastwood, again, 150,000 subscribers, a genuine, real nice dude, gets out on his YouTube channel. And again, I encourage everyone. And what I'm going to do, because he doesn't need help. He doesn't need my help getting subs. I need his help getting subs. But I'm going to add this video to the show notes that if you have not watched it, you should. If you are an Xbox fan and you are somewhat confused or not sure of what the future of the box and the platform looks like, this is probably one of his finest videos I've ever watched. I've watched it now 3 times because it's so good and it's so broken down in the best way possible that he does paint such an amazing picture. And again, it's folks, regardless of the tropes of Halo, Gears, and Forza that we kept hearing for years, you could now say the same thing about God of War, Horizon, and whatever else you want to add to that. And great, all 6 games are great. Spider-Man, Horizon, God of War. You can say the same thing, and let's be fair, all those games are amazing. There's no fighting on that. But Gears is a pillar. It is a cornerstone of what makes Xbox. And to have the trilogy come back in Unreal Engine 5 and give it the justice that it deserves to return in that way, Crispy, there isn't anything more to say. But we still have 4 other people to talk to. Anything else you wanna close out the Gears excitement with?
Well, I just want to say about his video, he said that they canceled that game, which that's where we're like, oh, they canceled the Phoenix collection. You know what I'm saying? I think they picked up people who can fly to take over that game. And they moved to Canada. So, not to say that the coalition couldn't oversee what they're doing, because at the end of the day, that's really what they do. They oversee and they make gears as of now. Now, that's where I say end Gear 6 on the right note, whatever it may be. Maybe it's not completely, end of the series, but, at least end it at the right note and then go to a new IP after, and that, people could come out with their game, and then you make something even newer than that. And the one thing I'll say is that I think even the collection itself. I think I've already heard that Gear 6 is going to blow people's minds visually,
Yes.
gameplay wise.
I've heard some things as well, and quite frankly, it's tantalizing.
and the only thing that people talk about is some of the way the story went in Gears 5. I'm not gonna, you could go into it. I don't choose to, because I believe there's a lot of people that haven't played through the whole story. But the point is that the story is supposedly looking like it's going to be really good as well. So, and that's the one thing I love. Like, the multiplayer is there. I'm sorry. Like, if you go and you actually know how to play Gears, you play Gears 5, that is like a magnum opus to like Gears multiplayer. But really, the first 3 are the ones that you have to say, like, the set pieces and stuff done in UE5, like the beginning of Gears 2 is just going to be, it's going to just pop your head off. Like, it really is. If they do it right, which, I mean, come on, we're talking about the coalition here. So I'm super hyped. And also, we got a movie coming out. I mean, come on, man. Like, here we go,
dude.
Baby. Let's do it.
I agree. It's crazy. Silent Cypher, let's bring you in on the conversation. But before we do, we shout out Mr. John Wolf, known as La Raza, Latino Heat. What's going on, John? Welcome to the program. As always, he's in the chat doing his thing. But listen, Silent Cypher, let's talk about Gears. This is wonderful news. This is amazing news. And I think that when you consider transmedia, right? Some people have never heard the term. Transmedia basically means a particular IP that transcends comics, graphic novels, books, movies, TV, gaming. Well, we're coming into a point where it actually is surprising that it has taken this long to actually get here. But Gears is going to have a rated R, mature rated Netflix series or films, whatever they're going to wind up doing with it. We just learned, thanks to Colt Eastwood, that Gears 6 is on another level. But Gears 1, 2, and 3, the Marcus Phoenix collection, is being remade in Unreal Engine 5. This is massive. This is massive information. And he confirmed that it's going to be at the big show next year. Like, this is a confirmation that you would not think that would be out there, and he's confirming it. Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, so I think there's got to be, like, looking around at the big picture, when you see that come from Colt Eastwood too, right? Because a lot of folks, like, they'd throw something out on Twitter and just leave it be. But like you said, he's got 150,000 now, right?
151 to be exact.
151. Okay.
Yeah.
So when someone like that comes out and puts something out there, it's usually from a factual basis, right? Because that person doesn't want to sit there and put out fires for the next, I don't know, God knows how many weeks after they put something out like that. Like, if you put something out there that's not factual, people will take you to task. I mean, even if you put stuff that's factual out there, we've seen that with Starfield, people freak out about it. But something like this, I think, with the following that he has, with his place in the community and in the podcasting scene, the YouTube scene, I think there's merit to what this is. And I think, kind of like what we were talking about, is like, he probably has been given the heads up, like, hey, this is a thing, you can talk about it. Literally can't say anything more than like, hey, this is coming. But I do think that's a thing. And honestly, I think it's a really good thing, because if I remember correctly, they never had the full trilogy on PC in a way like this, or at least updated. And so I think that'll be really big. This will be a really good stepping off point for a lot of people to actually get engaged with Gears of War, reinvigorate the series, and get people prepared for, like you said, the Netflix series or movie, whatever it ends up being, along with the new game coming as well. I think this is a really good opportunity for them. The fact that they're bringing this back out, this trilogy, because it will get a lot of eyes back on this series that maybe I mean, you look at it, you talk to people sometimes. Like I've got kids that I work with at work that, I'll bring up a movie that came out in 2005, 2007. They're like, "What's that?" I have no idea. It's like they were literally like 10 years old when the movie
Yeah, it's
came out, so
scary.
they couldn't see it.
That proves that we're just old.
Yes, it does. So I think it's good because it does give them an opportunity to bring a polished, well-rounded version of those games out for a new audience that probably has just never seen it.
I agree. I think that as meaningful Eternal Shaddai as Gears of War is to us, right? I still remember playing with my brother Neo Mental, Gears of War 1, and we were going through the refinery, and it was it's probably one of the most memorable online experiences that I've had with my brother. And we're going through this refinery, and all of a sudden it becomes like survival horror, which is something that they did really well with Gears 1 specifically. And we're hearing the things, you're seeing the little things run across the pipes, and we're like, oh my god, this is if we can experience that in Unreal Engine 5, you have an opportunity. And I think Microsoft, I think there's a couple of finite points here. I think that if this hits, and I think it's going to hit in a big way for a lot of reasons, Gear 6, the trilogy being remade, the film from Netflix, it's all going to hit like a ton of bricks. This is going to open the door for potentially having like something like the Fable trilogy be remade to coincide and introduce a younger, newer audience to what the heck's a Fable, right? Like what the heck? We know what a Fable is. We know it's a tall tale, but what is Fable? Well, we know because we were there from the beginning, and it started its life on OG Xbox. This has an opportunity to do a lot of really big things, and one of the things that I want to see Microsoft do more of is celebrate classic IP. Bringing back Gears in Unreal Engine 5 is probably one of the greatest ideas that's going to become a reality next year. How excited are you, dude?
Actually, I'm really, really excited. But let's start off with this. When it comes to remakes and all that, it's already been made by Xbox. Remember, that's why we have the Master Chief Collection. Let's start off with that. So we have the Master Chief Collection, which is started with the first 3 until they ended up adding the Reach, the ODSTs, and all that. Now, the thing is that I am very excited for that. The question is, will we might, yes, they said Marcus Phoenix, but will they add Judgment? Maybe a little bit of a change from there. Not everybody's favorite, but it's part of the story. I know we will not see what was Gears Tactics because it's kind of recent, but I wouldn't be surprised if they added. That's why they have, like you guys said, and I think it was you, Boom, that said that they're gonna have, or it was Crispy that said about People Can Fly. Remember, People Can Fly is the one who created Judgment. So I wouldn't be surprised to see whatever codes they're gonna give them or they use, even though they were there. But we have to remember that Coalition are the mastermind of UE. They are helping stay Undead Labs to create that. They,
their hands are in a lot of cookie jars.
There are a lot of cookie jars, so they are really, really busy. For me, I'm actually looking forward to it. I know it's the refinery, the special moment, but it's more for me. The most memorable is, I think, it's on Gears 2, because you have to be on that vehicle and the krills are behind you and you're trying to flash them because you're trying to survive so you could go to the city, and you have to cover that gas station, and it was a horde all over the place.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the most memorable one is on that Gears 2 on that particular one. But the coalition is very, very special. The question is, yes, like Cole Eastwood, I'm very surprised if they're gonna mention that next year and then Gear 6 at the same time, like a combination.
Yeah, sure.
A
I mean, if you're gonna
1-2
go
punch.
big all the way, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you really have to, which I'm very surprised. Now the question is, what we experienced on Gears 5, which they call it like a semi-open world. The question is, will this be a moment that they're gonna say, you know what, let's go for Gears? I'm not gonna say full, but let's say a full open world for the first time in Gears time. I probably gonna get really crazy if they decide, and I know probably they're gonna not gonna do it, but is it gonna be
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. They might go, you know what, let's go Gears, full open world, but it does have the essence of the Gears that we love and know. That's the part that I really want to know about Gear 6. Are they, we already experienced on 5. Is it gonna be this time? Are they gonna go all out? You know what? Let's go open world. Let's do this. What we know when they're trying to go with a bang for, unless if they're hyped because they got all the studios and buddies and all that. That usually happens because your momentum is high up there and let's go everything open world. It doesn't need to, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I'm sure they're going to take feedback from 5. See, for me personally, I loved the open nature of it. I love the fact that we still had areas that had the burnt out cars and the skeletons, and you look at, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's what Gears is. The fact that we can go and find weapons that you would normally miss if you didn't go looking on, taking the skiff and going all the way to the right and finding these hidden gems. I like the open world nature. It's funny because I had a chance to talk to Rod Ferguson at E3 2019. And I was like, oh my God, Rod, Gears of War open world. And he just laughed. He goes, well, it's not really open world. It was great. I got a chance to take pictures with him and the team. It was so much fun. I'm excited. I think that bringing back Gears 1, 2, and 3, it is a trilogy that I think could go toe to toe with just about any other trilogy in gaming and potentially come out the winner. And now that we're going to get a chance to experience, or some gamers, again, most diehard Xbox gamers, we've beaten them 10 times over. But there is a new generation of Xbox gamers, and this is a prolific series. Dreadpool, I want to bring you into the conversation, but before I do, let me catch up on the super chats. First of all, Web Dave, who could not be here today, drops a member chat. He's been a channel member for 23 months. And he says, have a great show, Mr. Boomstick, an amazing panel and guests. Salute to you guys. You guys rock, brother. Thank you so much for that. And of course, hugs and kisses to the family, as you would expect. Jacob Novick drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, hi all, heads up, the Xbox 360 store will shut down on July 29th, 2024. You can still you will still be able to download your own games and also still be able to buy OG and 360 games via the current Xbox. Yes, that is correct. But a lot of the games on that list are delisted. Most of the games are backwards compatible, so if you have the disc, you can play it. But if there's anything on that list, you can go and buy it right now. Get it on there, and once you buy it, it's yours. But they are going to shut down the store. We're probably going to go in a little bit more depth on Monday's show on what this actually means. But shout out to you, brother. Gerald Mack drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says Xbox World Order is fully operational. Hashtag XWO. Hashtag Graybeards. Hashtag we dem boys, we outside. Indeed, we are. Shout out to Bunty, who's been a channel member for 26 months. And he says, good morning, Boom and panel. Have a wonderful TGIF. And brother, same to you and yours. Jacob Novick drops an additional $5 super chat and says, I'm seeing people on Twitter reminding us that we're against the Backtrack PlayStation store shutdown. But I honestly think that Xbox BC program helps here. It 1,000% does. Let me tell you something. Sony did their fans dirty, and that's just what Sony does. And people just lap it up and say, "Give me another, sir." You know what? Good on you if you take the abuse. Don't take the abuse and let Sony know about themselves. Xbox backwards compatibility is a thing. It's in full effect. If you own the disc, you play the game. If you own the game digitally, you own the game, you play digitally. Should be cut and dry. Microsoft does it right. Sony does it incorrectly. Sith Lord drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Colt is the man. Indeed he is. Found him thanks to you, Boom. That's crazy. I love seeing that. Like that's the whole point. Where aren't we as creators supposed to help others? That I thought that's what we're supposed to do. And speaking of helping others, yesterday on XVlog Live, we started the show with Living Split Screen, 43 sub short of 1K, and he got 70 plus. I want to say thank you for helping him and Pong Soul cross that 1K line. And again, it's something that I enjoy doing. And I will, like I said, someone actually said something really nice to me on Twitter about, helping others, but that's what we're supposed to do. And they said, please don't change. Let me tell you something, folks. If I got 1 million subscribers tomorrow, then nothing's going to change. I'm still, if you wanted to come on the show and you had 1 sub, you'd come on the show. It doesn't matter. This is who I am, folks. This is it. There's no facade. This is who I am. Helping others is what it's about, at least for us. I can't say that for everyone because I can't talk for everyone, but I can talk for me and Mrs. Boom. And putting our best foot forward is what we're always going to do. Jacob Novick, wow, dude, thank you for the generosity. He drops an additional $10 super chat and says, somebody said a thing. Xbox event 2023 was awesome, so they have no excuse not to show off big in 2024. Well, if the Gears collection and Oblivion remake is true, the 2024 summer is off to a great start. Absolutely. So before I continue the rest of the super chats, let me bring in Infinite Umbra, who's here. Infinite Umbra, what's going on, brother? How you feeling? Welcome to the program. Okay, now we're ready to rock and roll. How you feeling, dude?
Yeah. The star of the show is here. It's true.
The star, Mr. Unreal Engine 5, which you happen to be coming into a conversation where it has been confirmed by Colt Eastwood that Gears 1, 2, and 3 are not only coming out in the Marcus Phoenix collection, but it is being remade in Unreal Engine 5, your favorite engine. How you feeling?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, they picked one of the best engines in gaming to do it. Why not? Right? Absolutely. I love to hear it. It's been a long time coming for the whole discussion of that hitting and launching as far as the Gears collection. So I'm not surprised by it. My thing though, when people were hyping it up at first, I was like, yeah, but is that needed versus something like, remakes of Fable? I think that would have taken, if I had to say so, that would have taken precedence. But hey, I'm all for it, man. I love Gears, so it is what it is. And Unreal Engine 5 is going to make it shine.
Indeed.
Morning, fellas. Morning, chat.
Blessings.
Yes, morning. Blessings indeed.
Yeah, yes. Welcome to the house of Xbox.
Yes, acknowledge me.
I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
we will get to you in a hot second. But Dreadpool, first of all, brother, good morning. And what are your hot thoughts on the Gears trilogy being remade, but not being remade in any other engine, but it's being remade in Unreal Engine 5?
Well, that's their expertise, so seeing that they're the ones that are helping Unreal with the Matrix demo, they're the ones that are helping push out and train other people with Unreal Engine 5. I mean, think about that. It's not their engine, and they're the ones helping train people. They're helping push it out. And so when you're an expert like that's phenomenal. Especially, like I said, it's not your engine. It should be Epic that should be, sending people out like that to help. And their people that created this should be the experts. But here we are, and when you look at it, it's like it's a good thing. We've already talked about. I mean, I've said it many times. Anything back in the 360 era, and beyond, needs to be brought back. We need to bring stuff like this back for the new generations. Um, Great. You can jump into Gears 5, or in a couple years when my daughter's old enough. I mean, granted, she's playing more gory stuff now than that, but if she ever gets interested in first person shooters in that type, with the goriness and the storyline, she's not going to understand where all this came from. She's just going to know where 5 and 6 are. So all this stuff helps bring everybody back up to speed. And then on top of that, you look at it, it's a whole new demographic. So when you see that, it's like, oh, okay, that's good. You're spreading it out to more people. Let me also remind everybody, just because Colt said this doesn't mean that, and I don't want to bring any bad news, but just keep in mind, things change. So in a year from now, if you don't see it because they pushed it back, it's not because Colt was lying. He had the facts. Okay, so remember, things change, but I doubt that they will change, because with them trying to do this, think about that. You bring the collection, and you get all the PC players back up to speed, and then you release 6. That's how you sell the next one to everybody all over again.
Yep.
You got to get them introduced, right? So not just my daughter and other children that are younger, bringing them up to speed. Hold on, somebody's. Let me get back with you. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll come back to you.
Something's not right here.
The pup is a fan of Colt. They're like, don't you talk ill of Colt?
No, I think the dog is hyped for years.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what, Fuzzy? Let's bring you into the conversation, brother.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is a big topic. It is a big deal. What are your thoughts on this returning, but not just returning in any other way? It like oh, it plays better on the Series X than it played on the 3. No, this is getting the full on treatment according to Colt.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing is we're looking at an IP or a collection of IPs that are older than 5 years being remastered. I not that I'm throwing shade at Sony, but it's like it's about time we see remasters that have aged well, and they're now getting modernized as far as the overall look
Yes.
by some of the masters that are like kind of like what Dreadpool was saying and everybody else was saying when it comes to Unreal Engine. The Coalition are like the kings of it, and if the people can fly or are working with them as well, they did well with Judgment as far as the visuals. So either one of those teams or portions of both working on this is going to be an amazing looking game. And the games were great to begin with, but it just bringing them up to graphical standards today, that you don't see that with a lot of remasters. Yeah, Dead Space did a good job. The Last of Us did a good job as far as visuals, although it wasn't remade from the ground up like a lot of people were hoping for. But yeah, having something like this with the updated visuals and everything, that's the way you do a remaster. Don't go back to something that just came out like 4 or 5 years ago. Go back to something that's now at this point. I think what Gears 3 is like 10 or 12 years old, and Gears 1 and 2 are older than that. So yeah, this is the way to do it, especially when you have the TV series like we talked about transmedia earlier. If you're going to have a TV series or like a made for streaming movie kind of thing coming out, this is a perfect way to get people not just hyped for the game, but for the series and vice versa kind of thing. So people that haven't, let's say played the earlier Gears finally get exposure to it, as well as those that, remember it in like a loving way from when they originally played it, can now see what it looks like in Unreal Engine 5, which, it's kind of like I wouldn't say the gold standard, but it is that engine that everybody, their eyes water and their jaws drop from the visuals and stuff. But yeah, this is a big step forward. We'll see as far as if Fable ever gets something like this as well down the road, but having like a Phoenix Collection thing being in the works, yeah, this is awesome to see. as far as fan service is concerned, it seems like Xbox really knows how to keep us happy. So that's pretty much it.
Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Look, at the end of the day, everyone has had really finite points. Let's move on. Let's ask Mr. Unreal Engine 5 himself, because it's Infinite UE5 as the middle name, Umbra. This is the dream come true for you. This is, you love Unreal Engine 5 for a good reason, for many great reasons. Let's just call a spade here. The Coalition are the masters. There's no one better at Unreal Engine outside of its creator. How big of a deal is this for the Gear series to come back and be reintroduced in these new life-changing graphics known as Unreal Engine 5?
I mean, it's pretty big, right? I mean, it all depends on how they approach it, I think, too, because they're setting up for Gear 6, and Gear 6 needs to have that reinvigoration, in my opinion, because as much as I love Gears 5, by the way, I feel like Gears 5 does not and did not get the love it deserved. So I think part of that is, I guess, fatigue of the franchise, possibly to some degree. Because I thought what they did in Part 5 was phenomenal. Personally, I think they should expand on that and go either go continue in that direction with that semi-open world, as aspect that they did to mimic God of War, or go full open world. But I think they have to get back to their roots, and I think they went away from that a bit. And I heard you mention something about the survival, not the survival, but the horror like aspects that they no longer
Loved it.
Yeah, like Part 1 had it. It was dark, it was creepy. You had those I forgot what they call them now, but those like pitch black type monsters that would eat you up if you get it now out of the light. You know what I mean?
You're talking about the Krills?
The Krills, yeah.
I was talking about that earlier.
Yeah, and you had the situation with the Berserker when she would burst through, because the Berserkers are always all female. I found that out.
Yes,
by the way, because they had a special event here in Chicago for Gears Part 1, and I went to it at the theater here in Chicago and met some of the people behind the scenes. Pretty dope. Played it on the big screen at the theater. But yeah, my thing for me is that right there that created a lot of crazy tension. I think outside of the original series, you didn't really get that anymore. I think 3 was the last one that kind of offered it, and 3 is my favorite in the series. But I think with the newer team, Part 4 and 5 lost that a bit. 5, I think kind of went and got some of it back, but it just doesn't have that aspect that it used to have. And I think they need to make it more gritty and get back to that, and reinvigorating it with 1 through 3. Are they doing Judgment? I wonder. Are they throwing that in there too?
I don't think so. I think Judgment is going to just exist where it is. I think this is strictly for Gears 1, 2, and 3, which would be considered the Marcus Phoenix collection.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But remember, Boom, sorry to call it, but remember, Boom, that's how it was named, Master Chief Collection, but Reach does not have Master Chief, but it's included.
Well, Chief is technically in Reach, to be fair.
Technically, yeah. See, that's the thing. He is technically, yeah. So, I mean,
but like 100% he's not there, only at the end.
True.
So, yeah.
That's true. But like, no, you're right about that. I mean, I feel like they should throw every Halo into the Master Chief Collection personally after it had the solo debut. Yeah. But yeah, man, I feel like this is the right way to go as far as a collection for Gears. I still maintain though that it's just an aside in my own opinion. I still feel like Fable, especially with the new start about to happen in the next few years or however long it will be, that'd have been something to reinvigorate that franchise, which Microsoft kind of let go to the wayside. You know what I mean? I think having that rebooted in Unreal or whatever they would have used, I thought that would have, to me, should have taken precedence, because if we're being honest, Gears, they had the Gears Ultimate that looks phenomenal still. Does that really need Unreal Engine 5? I don't think it does. Now, I'm not going to say no to it. I'm just saying, like, you didn't need it. Gears 3 to me still looks great. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think Part 2 may have needed it, being honest, but Gears Ultimate got it. And so it is what it is. But my thing also I'll just say, like, yeah, this is going to, I know fans are big time fans of Gears, and this will bring them back and it'll be something to enjoy. I don't know how well they'll implement this as far as things go with 6 going forward. And that's my thing. If they could bring this and somehow tie it to 6 in some way, as far as like maybe we see some flashbacks in 6 that show some of the cutscene or instances in during that time. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but just the ideas early in the morning. But I feel like it'll be dope. I know fans have been clamoring for it. I've seen people, hyped for it. So for them, I'm hyped. I'm happy for them. I will play it because I love the series, but it's not like, man, I need me a Gears collection. I didn't need it. I'll be honest with you because I got the other titles and I love them. So, but listen, Unreal Engine 5 is phenomenal. Dustin, I see you in the chat. You are added to the list, Dustin Lambert. For your slander.
Made the list.
Yes, you made the list.
I love it.
But yeah, no, man, I'm all for it. Listen, I know a lot of people, like I said, a lot of Xbox fans are for it and have been for it, despite what I want. So to them, hey, it is what it is. By the way, where was it? What did he confirm it? It was his latest video, right?
It was his latest video. It was his video breakdown of what to expect from Xbox Game Studios in the next like 2 to 3 years, where he just outright confirmed it. Like he didn't even skirt around it. He like straight up said they're working on 2 projects. One is Gear 6. Again, not a big surprise there. He said Gear 6 that people he's talked to said it's going to blow minds. And he said that he confirmed that not only was the trilogy coming back, it was being remade in Unreal Engine 5. And it was going to be shown, both games, at the 2024 Xbox event next summer.
Oh, wow.
He had some
put it
very
all out
finite
there,
details. Yeah, he put it out there. He slapped it on the table.
Oh, man, he probably burned some bridges with the coalition with that one.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Nope.
It feels like this is something where he was given the permission to come out and do so.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
That's
And
what
he hit it.
feels
He
like,
hit it
to
a
be
little
honest.
bit. He went 5 minutes in, and then he dropped the bomb. But you know, like I could tell that, like the way he retweeted it so quickly. He's like, because I was basically like, dude, I will mess you up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, like don't mess with my Gears fam, dude. Like, so. He didn't say a damn word, and he's being a little facetious, as we like to call it, but also like he said what he said, and he's going to leave it at that. And I respect him for it because he hasn't said a damn word about it until now. So just saying. Yeah,
I wonder how long he sat on that one right there.
He might have sat on it for a while because remember, this rumor has been floating around for quite a bit. And we'll see. I mean, listen, like I said, I don't think Colt risks his reputation. I mean, listen, no one's ever satisfied with their number of subs. Like I'm sitting at 13.1 and I want 25 already, right? He's sitting at 150,000+ subscribers. You think that's where he wants to stop? No, he wants to get 500,000 subscribers, and he might just do that. So I don't think that someone of his stature takes a chance, throws out this thing, and like I said, if you watch the video, he is so, as a matter of fact, that to me it's just confirmation that he knows what he's talking about. Now, could he be wrong? Sure, we've all gotten it wrong. Not the way he spoke in the video. Like I said, you should. I'll drop it in the DM, brother. You got. First of all, the video itself is fantastic, and it's quite lengthy, but he does break down. And one of the other things that went on like no one talked about is that he confirmed Stalker 2 for December 1st. I'm sorry, hello, what? But we're going to see Stalker 2, and maybe he let the cat out of the bag. Maybe we get the release date for December 1st at Gamescom next week.
You know what?
Who knows?
I thought that maybe I just assumed. I assumed Stalker 2 would be in December.
I assumed it as well because they're showing it and we're finally going to get it. So I figured that that's the best place for it. But he went on to say, specifically with Stalker 2, that it was originally going to be a 3-month exclusive. It's not now; it's a year, and he even suggested it could go on further than that. So we will see. Dreadpool. Before we move on to talk about Starfield, because that's what everyone is clamoring to talk about. Anything else you'd like to add to regarding the Gears trilogy coming back in Unreal Engine 5?
I don't care what anybody says. It's a good thing.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
You know, I'm reading the chat and a couple people, you know, whatever. But it's a good thing. Anytime you can bring games back from the dead. I mean, I know the game isn't dead. It's a good series. It's
That's
still
just dumb.
going. Yeah,
I'm
but
sure the same people that are having a problem with that are going to run out like dummies and give 7643 for the Last of Us 2 remake that just released, I don't know, 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
for the fourth time.
Yeah,
You know,
ridiculous.
so that's fine. You know,
Just
so whatever. People want to be hypocrites like that. That's fine too.
stand on your square, but I have a dunce hat you could wear.
There's nothing wrong when you get more people interested in a game that never knew about it. We talked, you know, Silent Cypher brought up movies that we've talked about. I mean, I've literally said, like many quotes. You know, I interviewed people that didn't know who Boba Hotep was, the movie, and it's
Oh,
like,
dude, what?
how do you not know?
What a
You know
great
I mean?
film, man!
Oh, yeah.
You know, you throw out In Living Color, and you go, homie, don't play that, and
People
are
have
like,
no idea what
what?
the H you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, are you kidding me? That's a famous line that we've all said, and it's like,
People don't know Jim Carrey before he was big was on that show.
Yeah.
So again, that's one of those things.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with bringing people up to speed, getting more people that wouldn't be interested in it until they've actually played this to be interested in it.
And if you're gonna bring it back, right, Dread, Unreal Engine 5, it's from the masters of Unreal Engine, right? They created Gears using Unreal Engine. They did things that no one ever did before. They're gonna bring a trilogy back, and instead of it just being like a coat of paint, they're stripping it down and remaking it in one of the most prolific engines that allow for things to be done in gaming right now, currently, that has never been seen before. And what better studio and what better franchise than to take the Coalition and allow them to recreate the masterclass trilogy of Gears of War. And again, listen, I don't care what box you pray to. If you don't think that Gears matters, you're just dumb, and you don't really you don't see the truth. Sorry.
And there's nothing wrong with giving this type of game, and they're combining it all as one. You know, and obviously, I'm sure they could piece it out if they wanted to, but they're doing
it's going to
a
be
collection.
set up like a trilogy, as you would imagine.
Exactly, they're doing a collection.
Yeah.
They're doing, you know, they're not trying to piece it out one by one and reselling it to you, but they're giving you basically the Resident Evil remakes. If you look at it, you know what I mean?
Really well made. Really well made.
Speaking of Resident Evil remakes, the remakes for Resident Evil qualify basically as new games. They're nowhere near the same as Part 2 was back then, right?
Right, because
three was not. I agree. I think that they are a blueprint, and that is about it. Because everything about those games is different. Yes, they have.
That's what I thought.
Scenario.
And my thinking is, I'm wondering then if they're doing this because I'm trying to find out the the catch, because again, I think Ultimate is a great Gears 1. It looks spectacular in Ultimate. Like I don't think that needs it. So I'm wondering, are they going to alter it with this remake or remaster or however they want to classify this?
I'm sure they'll alter it if you look at it. Look at Master Chief Collection. When you play the original game, right? Halo Combat Evolved, it was grimier, dirtier, right? They remade it with the Anniversary Collection. They cleaned it up. When they came back again with the collection, what did they do? They left it clean.
Yeah, no, but that's just visually. I'm talking about actual story, elements.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying.
Resident Evil 2 changed story elements.
I don't see them changing the story much.
There could be some stuff that was cut off the when they make these games, and some things don't make the cutting room floor. They just get cut. That's what happens. Maybe there's elements to Gears 1 and 2 that they wanted in there that they couldn't necessarily do technology wise, and now they can put those, because remember, the Gears of War Ultimate, that whole scene that originally was only on PC came to Ultimate, and it was an incredible showpiece for the game. So it's listen, this is wonderful news. This is going to open up the door and introduce what is expected to be a resurgence for Gears. They're getting a film or a trilogy of films, from what we understand from Netflix. Big budget, big time talent that's going to be attached to it. Gears 6 is going to be shown next year. Gears Trilogy is going to get shown next year, maybe even released next year. Maybe it's early 2025. Who knows? But all I know is that this is an exciting time for games. And like I said, if you subscribe to the so-called ports that Sony does with just about every one of their games, which again, all of next year is going to be ports for them. You're going to see Horizon released for the PlayStation 5. Why? You're going to see The Last of Us 2, remake or whatever you want to call it. Why? Like, why is this happening? And everyone is like, oh, yeah, give me some more. I'll take it. Go buy it. By all means, enjoy it. What can I tell you? Spend your money how you want to spend it. But don't come at us. We're excited for Gears of War, which is a trilogy that is so old that it deserves it. But listen, let's get into Starfield, folks. That's what you're here to talk about. But I gotta get into the super chats a bit. I mean, so many of them. Game Shark drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I would love to see a reveal of the Gears trilogy with Mad World by Tears for Fears playing in the background. Appreciate you guys do that. Is dope. And that would be freaking awesome. On the bright side, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, all pro reviews for Starfield will be out 8/31. Metacritic and OpenCritic won't open for user reviews until 9/6. Review bombs will fail. Yeah, listen, I said this, and I'm being like heartfelt here. If you are like trying to make these gas accounts to review bomb a game, and you're putting that much effort into something like that, take 5 minutes, go look in the mirror, and maybe you just need to kind of focus on life, because that's just ridiculous. Like, if you think about it, if you took that effort that you're going out of your way to review bomb a game and put that into your personal life, I guarantee you're going to be better for it. Maybe that's where you need to put that energy, because that's just ridiculous. SAS Shadows drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, bring that Gears of War gas. Shout out my man Christy.
Salute, brother. Salute.
Salute the Shadows, brother. Thank you so much for being here. We have let's see, Nathan Day drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, think people can fly are working on Gear 6. Well, I don't know. That's a great question. They just announced that they're working on a AAA Xbox exclusive. They've just signed on with Xbox. Me and Crispy seem to think they have been acquired. They just haven't announced it yet, because they don't have to announce things, yet. I think there's been quite a few studios that were acquired that haven't been announced yet until this ABK nonsense is done. We'll see. Staccato drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, boom, it's just like Infinite Umbra. It's just like Infinite UE5, bruh. He's giving them free marketing. Indeed he is. Hopefully he gets a check for all the Unreal Engine 5 talk that he does. Jacob Novik drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says, Fuzzy, you said that Sony makes a remaster of a 5-year-old game, but can you even call a so-called remaster from 5 years old of a game a remaster? Yeah, I don't think so. Sony just milks their fans, man. They just milk them dry. It's just crazy. Nicholas Branch drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, love you, Boom, brother. Thank you so much for the kind words, and I love you as well. He says, just wanted to drop this and say how much I appreciate you doing this throughout the week. Gets me through it, honestly. Love your presence in the space. Thank you. That, Nicholas, that is incredibly kind of you to say, and that makes it all worth it. Let's be fair. It's not easy doing 5 shows a week, but I'm going to be honest. I absolutely love it. It never feels like a chore. I never sit in this seat and be like, oh, I gotta do another show. I work on the channel 7 days a week, folks, and I absolutely love it. And I go at 100 miles an hour. And why I love it is because when I retired from the NYPD, I used to run at 110 miles an hour. I used to go out looking for the bad guys because that's what I swore to do, protect the people of the city. And I ran at 110 every second that I wore that uniform. And when I had to retire, I kind of was a little bit lost, to be honest with you. And then obviously, you know, here we are, 5 shows a week, and it's not. I'm not an adrenaline junkie like that, but I love having things to do. Maybe it's undiagnosed ADD. I don't know, but I love talking about video games.
I thought it was the coffee. I thought it was the coffee and the muffin that you had.
I was going to say. I was going to say it's undiagnosed superpowers. You can run at 110 miles per hour. I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, the Flash got
retired. He's not retired.
No, yeah, right.
Not on that part.
He's not tired at all.
No enemies. None of those suspects getting away from you.
No, you know what? I went hunting, brother, and I found a lot of the bad guys. Listen, I had a chance to go back to my neighborhood that I grew up as a kid and be a police officer. I mean, it's a story you don't hear much about because it's a really good one and it's not a terrible one, which of course we know if it bleeds, it reads, so to speak. But I'm very proud to go back to my neighborhood and do what I did. But listen, risk it for the biscuit. Our good brother, all the way from the other side of the planet,
Risk
that's a
it.
very generous $8 super chat and says, I believe they do it since the rumor. Why? Simple. The games aren't on PC, and that's why we're all getting the Gears collection. Abso-freaking-lutely. Good stuff. Oh, wait a second. We got BitCloud popping in here. Didn't expect to see him here, so let's bring him in on the conversation. BitCloud, what's going on, my brother? Good morning, sir.
Ooh, good morning. What's going on?
Nothing much, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get into Starfield right now. And listen, you showed up at the right time because the excitement for Xbox right now is through the roof. But we will get to you in a hot second, brother. Wow, these super chats are crazy. We have Alex Cullion drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I purchased 2 SSDs for my Series X and S. Just to make sure no storage issues when Starfield. Can't wait for the loot and to steal ships. Yeah, you're like right there with Pong Soul. He wants to steal everything. I don't. I'm going to hunt pirates, but that's just what I do. Jacob Novik drops in it. Wow, an additional $10 super chat. Jacob, thank you for the outstanding generosity. He says, we barely know what PlayStation's roadmap is, but with every confirmed and rumor Xbox game, if true, then we may know Xbox games that are coming between now and 2028, which is when PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox may launch. I think what we're going to get, he said 2028, I'm sorry. I think one of the launch games for the next Xbox, if it is 2028, is probably going to be Elder Scrolls 6. I think that's one of the big ones. El Chapo 117. El Chapo, welcome to the program. He drops very generous $10 super chat and says, we need a Mass Effect trilogy style remaster for Gears with all of the DLC, all of the bells and whistles. Mass Effect was given the love it deserved. Gears deserves it as well. Yes, I think that's what we're going to get. I think we're going to be so blown away, our minds are going to explode open. Drawn TJ, who joined us on Primetime Gaming this last Wednesday, drops a very generous $2 super chat and simply says, hello, guys. Well, hello to you, Drawn TJ. We also have JD Gamer drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, panel, which do you think will showcase the Xbox Series X and S hardware and feature more? Forza Tech redesigned from the ground up with Xbox consoles in mind, or the massively powerful Unreal Engine 5? I mean, that Forza Tech is just
Unreal.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's probably going to be Unreal. I mean, we've seen just the tip of the spear on what they can do with it. And quite frankly, what I've seen is, you got to remember, folks, like I say this all the time, and I don't mean to be facetious in any way. I am very privileged as a person that is in gaming. I got into gaming in 1978 when my dad brought home an Atari 2600, and I got a chance to see something like a Circus Atari with sticks and dots using a paddle to where we are now. So a lot of kids, a lot of younger generation are coming out, and they're experiencing Unreal Engine 4. That's their first foray into gaming, which is amazing. See, I got a chance to go from sticks and dots to where we are now. I'm blown away with what Unreal Engine can do. Like it's lifelike. It like you can't. We're getting to a point in gaming where you're not going to be able to tell the difference, and that is both scary and exciting. So I'm gonna stop the super chats there for a second because we got a lot of people here. We got to get into Starfield. Silent Cypher, I'm going to go to you first. I think what we are starting to hear, and again, no one's talking about it because they can't. They're under embargo. The codes have gone out. Shout out to my brothers over at the Iron Lords who were blessed. And it wasn't just one of them. Bethesda was amazing enough to give 4 codes. So all 4 Iron Lords got codes. They're up and running. They're playing it. Shout out to them. And you know what? What could you say? They're so deserving of it. They do such great work in this community. They are amazing human beings, front, right, and center. So shout out to the Iron Lords. And before anyone asks, I have not gotten my code. I requested it. The channels, I think, is too small. So maybe by next week, if they're giving them out in tiers based on views or sub count or whatever, maybe I get it. Listen, if I don't get it, folks, don't sweat it. I'm not offended. I'm a gamer like you. I'll play on the 1st or on the 31st like everyone else, and we're gonna have amazing coverage on the channel. But I did request for the review code. I just haven't gotten it as of this show, and that's fine. I'm not offended. Silent Cypher, let's talk about it. This is looking more and more like the one game that is going to become that zeitgeist conversation for Xbox that we have not had in a very, very long time. Like I have compared it, and this is just my personal take, folks, to the level of that fever, the fever pitch that was Halo 3. And back in 2007. Now we're in 2023. It has been a long time, and I'm not taking away anything from Gears 4 or 5 or any of the big, Halo Infinite, but this is something special. I mean, it's trending every day of the week. People are losing their minds. Jez Corden, who I'm a very good friend with, and he is just an amazing journalist, simply wrote OMG. Now, I know Jez, and that simple 3-character statement is powerful because he has put Microsoft on blast, and rightfully he should, as we all should. But for him to simply just write OMG, to me, knowing Jez, that he's playing this, it's powerful. My question to you is, how big do you think this game is actually going to be?
None of us have enough time. We'll just throw that right out on Front Street, right? None of us will have enough time on this. I'm sure there will be some kids that can no life it, but like for us, we're going to try and put as much time in as possible, but it's going to take probably months and months for a lot of us to make like a solid chunk of progress on this game. Back to what you were actually mentioning real quick, though. You mentioned, obviously, like we can't hear anything from the folks that are playing it right now because they're under NDA. I don't, it's like usually I'd be like, man, I wish I could hear something. But I feel like a certain subset of people are talking about Starfield so much for the people who can't talk about Starfield.
All right.
Ponies. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I don't know what that was. That it's like it feels like we still have people talking about Starfield enough that it's filling that gap while we go into the release of this game, right? Like Fuzzy, I bet you didn't know that we have the Great Salt Lake out here in Utah. Did you know that it actually was just changed? The name was just changed recently.
No, what has it been changed to?
It is now the Great Pony Lake. There's a bunch. It's a moving lake of people, and it looks like a giant human centipede of blue Sony ponies, and it boggles my mind. Like I feel like that's what I run into every time I jump online. Is like they're trying to change the narrative nonstop about this game. Oh God, it hasn't gone gold yet, so clearly the game's doomed. Oh, hey guys,
I
guess
saw
what?
that.
It
How
just
ridiculous.
went
Yeah.
gold. It's like, oh, by the way, it's gold now. So where are you going to move the goalpost now? Like this game is going to be massive. A lot of people have made the comment in the past, but it is going to be a generational game.
Yeah.
You look at the pedigree of this studio, that's what they release. Whether you like it or not, whether it has some bugs, which it will, like
Yeah, every game has it.
don't go into this game thinking it's going to be completely polished. There will be things they'll miss because a game of this scale is going to have a lot of mechanics working with and against each other at all times. But you know what? Honestly, like when people look back at the games that they play from them, those bugs, some of that jank, as long as it's not something where it's like, oh, hey, it broke my game. Like prime example, Fallout 3. I got to the very end of that game. I'm not going to do spoilers because I know some folks probably haven't played all that, but I got to a point where I found a main character and I was getting ready to leave the room after something integral happened, and the game would just freeze over and over and over again. Now, if there's something like that, I'll be frustrated. But based on the fact that they've put as much extra polish as they have, the fact that they've given it an extra year of time to add extra polish, yeah, there will be some bugs and stuff like that. But generally, when people play these games, that's not what comes back from the conversation. The conversation is, holy crap, did you go to this one corner of the map and you found this guy that was, doing this? Or like, oh, I found this monster that was here. That's the stuff that sticks with you. Yeah, bugs happen occasionally, but honestly, it's not going to ruin the overall experience for this game. But if you look online, I mean, this thing's doomed from the beginning. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense, but I think this thing's going to be huge.
It
awesome.
has been.
Welcome to Twitter, Silent.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep. Every time that I try and give them a little bit of credit, and I'm like, you know what? They've shown enough now. Maybe we can have a conversation. Then I see people throwing poop across the walls and smearing it everywhere and screaming that it's end times. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, you
But
can never win. You can never be excited. You can never give credit. No, it's always got to be, you got to be one side or the other. That's how they
Yes. And something I found recently is you can't throw the smoke, like you can't throw shade and correct Microsoft if you're a fan. If you're a fan,
if you're a fan of
Xbox.
Microsoft, same thing was
I
with
discovered that
PlayStation.
one recently too. Yeah, that was
It's a cult-like
we can't-
mindset, and that's the problem with social media. That's why you see a lot of developers not really get into it as much. I noticed that. I remember how I used to be very vocal. Every developer would be willing to talk.
Mhm.
They don't talk. They don't talk as much. Only a handful that will speak. So
That's because they get jumped for having any excitement about anything.
It's ridiculous. I agree.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, to your question, it's going to be huge. I'm freaking stoked.
Yeah.
The fact that we're as close to this thing as we are, whether I get a code early or not, I'm just super stoked that it's coming out like right as we go into Labor Day weekend, because I'll actually have time to play this game.
Yes. Yeah. It does release literally around a perfect vacation time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, like I said, if if you're gonna get the early access, which you can get through Game Pass, obviously, or you can buy the collector's edition or the $99 edition, whichever one you want. If you want to play early, or and technically it's going to be the 31st, which is, well, it would be considered the first because the minute it hits midnight, you'll be able to play, which is what I'm going to do. I absolutely can. I absolutely I'm through the roof stoked for this. Eternal should die. Let's get your hot take on this. How big of a game do you think Starfield is going to be? And just based on some of the conversations with who's getting codes. Again, no one has let the cat out of the bag because everyone's under embargo. But you can tell, like Paris Lilly put out a tweet of him, like a gif of himself just laughing that he got, Starfield. And Paris is a good dude. Like, of course, you're going to expect Paris to get one. His brother from another, Danny,
Danny Peña. Danny Peña.
He got one as well. It's good to see this kind of excitement for Xbox, especially considering that in some years they've kind of been, not so great.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, for geography, we know, the Dead Sea. That's where all the salt, gets collected. So, that's the lake of the.
Are you saying there's a lot of salt in those in social media right now? People that don't want to.
No, I'm doing just a little bit of history and geography. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of, just a little bit. Supposedly that's the lake with the most salt in the world, and that's where everybody supposedly the blue team gathers. But Starfield, it's a big game.
Lake who?
Personally, the only Bethesda games that I play is Wolfenstein. I forgot the Evil Within and all that. I did try Skyrim. I guess I backed off personally because once I saw that it was 300 hours, I'm like, that takes my life. But as time passes and I saw Starfield, it's a little bit different, this one, but I could go probably because it's a space game. Outer Worlds. I like Outer Worlds. When I start playing Outer Worlds, that's when my hype started going in towards Starfield. And I bought the collector's edition for that one. I'm just waiting for it. The only thing that I'm waiting is, are we going to get it early or not? Because it's a collector edition. Everybody have the embargo, but the question is, supposedly right now they have a preload now all over the place. They already mentioned, I think it was the 17th and the 31st for preload. I think it's a preload difference in between. But for me, I'm really hyped for the game. I'm looking forward to it. For people that have the codes for it on time, I'm just waiting for their reactions for the game. That game is way too high up. Starfield is one of the games that I wanted to experience. I don't know how much because we're talking about 1,000 planets in here. But when it comes to the customization, everything that brings to the table, I think that's one of the games that I wanted to try everything, cracks and bits and crannies on that game. It's just a lot. 25 years in the making for Todd Howard. First game, I have to say like that because I guess these two games are very small, and I'm talking about the Hi-Fi Rush, and we're talking about the Redfalls. This is I consider this game the first AAA game under the Xbox umbrella. This is the one that is gonna push everything to the limit, everything for, if you want to call it like that, since they don't want to talk about consoles, but push the consoles away for sales. This is a game that I'm really looking forward to it. This is something that we are expecting the best of Todd Howard. It's just that it's going gold, as we all know. It went gold, as in supposedly it was never gonna go gold. But now this is more of a wait and see game.
Yep.
Until the pre-release or the release day, like you said, since you're waiting for it, boom. But this is a game that for me is gonna be the first experience under that's not for the RP Western RPG. So right now it's just a wait. It's just a wait and see. It just there's too much hype behind it, and I just want to experience. What about you guys? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I you know what I really can't wait for is, and we talked about this yesterday, me and Steel Rain, that this game has the potential to be one of those types of experiences that we're all going to have a conversation, and none of our conversations are going to be the same. You know, very similar to what Silent just said about, you know, oh, you got to go to this corner of the map to check this out. We're talking about a galaxy. We're talking about 1,000 planets. We're talking about things put out into outer space that we're going to be running into that you potentially may never see. And I came across a dead star. I came across a derelict spaceship with like creatures on there, and I found this dope weapon, or I found this dope armor. Where'd you get that, dude? I couldn't tell you because I don't know how to read star maps.
No,
now
that you mentioned that, there's something that I always like, which I think it was on Halo 4, which it brought me back, and it actually got me a little bit, it got me even more hyped for Starfield. And I love, I know you said for so many times in your show about you want to be a space pirate, and I think not too long ago you were undecided between a hunter and I think it was something else.
Yeah, Ronin. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, again. I think I'm gonna the collective is. I'm gonna be one of them. It's like a space cowboy. I'm bringing justice back to the universe, one bad guy at a time. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But like I'm tossed up now because Ronin was what I wanted to do, and I saw a bounty, and I'm like, damn, like I don't know what to pick now.
See, like for me, it was the dog fights. In Halo, it happened like that. I love dog fights like that. So now I wanted it to see, because not a lot of, I'm not saying that Bethesda is not good at it, but let's see how it goes. But not everybody is good when it comes to gameplay in a spaceship. And I thought that in Halo 4, if I'm not mistaken, they nailed it. It's not for everybody, but I think they nailed it so it could be easier. But that is something that I really wanted to see and experience. How's the gameplay when it comes to a spaceship battle, a dogfight, and that's something that I'm trying to look for. And I know that we get to go here and there. I don't know if the story is gonna change depending on your answers, because look at now what we see. We see majority of the people are more into the side missions. It's like me. I know this is a little bit different, but it's more of a RPG. But I'm more like in Diablo 4. I'm playing that, but I'm more into the side missions. Is it going to be the same thing for Starfield? Am I going to be stuck doing side missions instead, more explorations in the side mission compared to a main story? Since it's so big, we're talking about, like you said, 1,000 planets. Am I gonna go for this one? I might end up going to the other planet compared to this one. Am I gonna farm for more materials? That's something that I wanted to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Listen, everyone is gonna experience it in its own way. There are gonna be people that, like myself, who are going to have a main mission to go to, and I know where it's in front of me. It's pointed in front of me. I know exactly where I got to go, but there's no way I'm playing the game like that. Like I'm going to go here, there, and everywhere. Like I might spend the first 25 hours on side stuff and be like, oh, you didn't get to start the mission. Oh, I forgot about that. I have to go here. Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get your hot take on the excitement behind this game. This is something. And there's a lot to take away for Xbox and its platform that is happening right now, and I really think that this is what we as Xbox fans have been waiting for. We're on the cusp of a launch of a game that is already considered generational, and none of us have put our hands on. Anyone that has just simply put out quotes like, "Oh my God." And that's enough for me because, like I said, the source.
I think the biggest thing is looking at like all of Bethesda's previous titles and the impact that they've had on gaming as well as gamers as a whole. I think that's probably the biggest thing about this. And then the lore of being a sci-fi, you know, grounded in like NASA punk or grounded in reality to some extent, although it looks like we may have some force powers mixed in there. And then just the endless possibilities on how you play this game, I think is like the biggest draw and the reason why there's so much excitement and so much hype around it. Like I think everybody has always dreamt of like their own version of like a Star Trek or Star Wars simulator to some extent. And you have the ability to kind of overlap and do a bit of both in this, just from the stuff we've seen. And there's going to be so much more that you're going to probably stumble across, whether it's, you know, in the middle of trying to find resources on a planet or an artifact or something like that. I just feel this is going to be that game that it's going to have water cooler moments of all the different things that you attempt or try, and then it's like somebody found something similar or something completely different by doing exactly what you did, or they tried something totally different, and had, you know, amazing or not so amazing results, and then they wound up like losing part of their crew or whatever the case is. But it's just that lore of having that type of game. Like we really haven't had that, not in the console space. Like I know, you know, there's Eve Online and there's, you know, Star Citizen, but those games are still in, well, Eve is kind of like launched, and Star Citizen still in like forever a perpetual beta. But even those games haven't fully been realized, as far as like, I think Star Citizens had to take some of their side quests and mission stuff away. They just added persistence stuff throughout the entire universe, and that broke the servers for a few months. So having this type of game, even though it's going to be focused on a single player aspect, it will have so much content that I think it's either going to be a matter of how many playthroughs you want to go through. Do you want to play the space cop, or do you want to play the space pirate, or do you want to play the double or triple spy kind of thing?
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff, and like I said before, my big thing I want to do is try to build a crew and have it where I steal enough ships that I can, you know, assign part of the crew to a certain ship and we fly as a fleet.
Yes.
And if that's a possibility in this game, I think I'm gonna wind up having to, you know, divvy up my time between this and Forza, because there is a plan to kind of not really speed through this game, but kind of get through a lot of things as quick as I can. So there's gonna be some late nights playing this at up front, but you know, I definitely want to be there day one for Forza. But man, this is going to soak up so much more of my time, and being more of a Star Trek fan than Star Wars, although I like both. This, I think, has that appeal where
It definitely has a Trek feel to it.
Mhm.
It does.
yeah. And just like Eternal Shaddai was saying, like the side quests, I'm usually the type that winds up doing more of the side quests so I can level up my character, so I'm overpowered by the time I get to some of the main story
End
mission
game.
stuff.
Yeah.
Same.
I just feel this, especially like the way the plans are set. And I'm talking about you can have an apartment. I think you wind up, or a lot of us will wind up getting sidetracked to the point where we're like maybe an hour or two into the game, we get our first apartment on a planet where it's kind of like a cyberpunk-esque type city. And we might spend a couple of days or a couple of weeks just focused on that planet and not even, you know, explored the moon of that planet or something to that effect. So there's just a lot of potential in this game, and just all of those, like when you're a little kid and you see the space shuttle kind of thing, all that excitement, and you know, the excitement of, you know, all of the, you know, sci-fi movies that have been out over the years. I think all of that bundled up in the fact that you're going to be the center of that universe and be able to play this game, I think that's the biggest thing that's the draw. And in the community that have the early access, yeah, I'm envious as hell right now, but man, more power to them, and yeah, well deserved on that. But man, and the little, you know, tweets that they make and things along those lines definitely, you know, ramps that hype meter up for the end of this month. So early access is the way to go, for at least for me. I don't know about everybody else, but the 31st is going to be where I log in.
Absolutely. 1,000%. Crispy Bomb. Let's get your hot take on this. This is again, you know, you've been a part of the Xbox community for a very long time. This is excitement that we haven't seen in years. And this game, it's a Bethesda joint. Let's not make a mistake. Their history you must give them respect. You must give them the flowers. They have earned it, and this is Todd Howard's dream come true. This getting delayed a year is probably the best thing that could happen to it, because what we're going to get is probably one of the most polished Bethesda games ever released. And you know what, man, Xbox really needed a win, a big W. I'm hoping that the gaming media does what they're supposed to do, and they review a game, not a platform, and give this game what is expected to be very high 90s meta for sure. How big is this game for you as an Xbox fan?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm gonna no life it. For
Me too.
The people that feel like it's Saltfield and they have an unsufferable feeling that the FOMO will make them either actually download it on their PC, which you can do, by the way, or go buy a Series S because it'll play on that. And trust me, they wouldn't be putting it on the Series S if it couldn't play it. But of course,
Howard played most of his playthrough on a Series S just to make sure that it played well.
By the way, Crispy, if they had a PC, they wouldn't be so negative against this game, by the way.
Well,
that's true.
This is where I get. I mean,
quotes.
if you don't like Bethesda's games, don't buy it. Okay, like I'm not BSing you. This is going to be a Bethesda game. You can pick up like insufferable amounts of like stuff. You can, mine things. You can build things. You can basically do whatever the hell you want. All right. And this is what they built. I mean, it's going to be modded. The modding community, they're one of the few companies. They support them. They actually hire them. Okay. They hire them after the fact. Like, dude, you made something incredible. We're hiring you. Like, here you go. And you have all of these things involved. And not to mention that I'm always somebody that looks to the stars and says, what's out there? And this is something that Starfield is going to do for people, regardless of it being factual or not. But here's the thing, Bethesda, Todd Howard decided to be logical about it and say, is this possible in our world or in the next 100 years? And that's what they look at. And that's where you go and say, how do they do this? They've done the research. They have also tried to say, hey, like, you know what? Like, we're not going to go too in depth with the flying and everything else, because the fuel and stuff like it would just hamper people and it would make them not want to play the game. So they changed that. And that's all comes down to Xbox being like, no, like, we're good. Like, like, you need to delay this because we think it could be even better than what it is. And that's what we're getting at this point. We're getting something that is going to probably no life a lot of people. And, to say no life, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's something that you look to and you say, man, like, look at this planet. Look at how it shines while I'm flying to it. What is going to be there? And even if it's just resources, because you can build fleets, you can go to jail, people. And if that's it, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be some Twitch streamer their whole thing is gonna be try to go to jail and figure out how to get out or something like that.
Dude, the Twitch numbers on this are gonna be
something
bonkers.
I was joking with Crazy
because
Louie.
The possibilities are endless. Isn't that what we want?
Yes, dude, that's what gaming is supposed to be.
You know what I mean? No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Everybody touted how good Elden Ring is, like the sense of discovery. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had that sense of discovery. Well, we're talking about 1,000 planets. How are you not going to have that sense of discovery and also have a main story that you could go into or not? Because that's what I've experienced in the Bethesda-like RPGs. And we can include Obsidian in there in some way at some point with New Vegas. Like, it is a lineage that is within Microsoft now. the sense of discovery is important, especially when it comes to a role-playing game. Okay, you are playing the role. You will make your character. You will start out. I like that they don't talk. Like, you just have the words, because, you know, the talking thing, like, it kind of subsets you in a certain way. Like, have your own imagination. I mean, we did grow up in a time where imagination drew us rather than, you know, watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. Can we go back to that? Can we have that imagination again? And what better way than to have it in the stars, where we don't know what the possibilities are? It is something that I'm probably going to play this game for like 3 years. Okay. And the one thing I love, and people are like, oh, you know, it didn't go gold yet. Dude, you have like a whole like 15, 16 days for them to drop their reviews. Tell me this game isn't polished. This isn't Redfall, people. They probably threw Redfall to the wayside, and you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, Redfall they drew up.
Is as good as I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that I'm going to leave it at that. Like, if this game is as good as it think it's going to be, this is I don't care about anything that's come out before, and that's the way I'm looking.
That I agree. Yeah,
Redfall crawled so Starfield could soar. Is that what you're saying?
You know, Redfall. You know, a lot of people enjoy it. I mean, I put 50 hours into it, and I really
Phil
enjoyed
said
it.
he didn't bring in the A team. The A team was probably working on Starfield. I'm just saying.
Everybody was working on Starfield to get this thing done, and we're gonna see very soon, folks. Dreadpool. Let's bring you in on the conversation. But before I do, sir, let me just read a couple of super chats. We have a new channel member, Elio Monteros. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. That is very kind of you. Hopefully you enjoy it enough to be here each and every day and check out the program. We also have Risk It for the Biscuit. Our good brother from Down Under drops an additional, very generous $3 super chat and says, do not retaliate, review bomb SM2.
Spider-Man.
Be better, guys.
Yeah.
Listen,
Agreed.
Spider-Man 2 is going to be dope. If you review bomb it, you're dumb.
Oh, don't get me started with that. Don't get me started.
You're just dumb. There is no reason in your life, as crazy as this world is, that you have to put at the top of your to-do list is review bomb.
I mean, a lot of these dudes who do this, this is all they got, man. They live just for that attention on Twitter.
It's scary. It's
pathetic.
You see it firsthand.
They need a hug.
Yeah. I saw the one guy who said he's making 1,000
accounts.
Yeah, accounts to
it's
review
like
bomb Starfield. It's like, come on, man.
That's
like,
asking for
it's called a
attention.
life. Do you have you heard of it? You know what I mean? Like,
Get on a couch and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
He's not getting enough attention from mommy, apparently.
And I thought scalpers were horrible, but gee.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. Drawn TJ drops an additional, very generous $5 super chat and says they should buy who they are working with and get creators of Saints Row from Embracer, and then they can make True Crime. I mean, that's good. That's a fantastic idea. True Crime would be dope to come back.
Just to mention, I think that team could also do a superior job with the next Crackdown. Being real.
Absolutely could. We need a Crackdown reboot of sorts, which is what 3 was kind of supposed to be. I'd love to see I hope that we have not played the last Crackdown, because Crackdown 3, I don't care what you say, was dope AF.
Any game can be redeemed.
I enjoyed it. I think though you put that team on there because I look at what they did with the other, what was the name of that? I had the name in my head and just literally
Sumo Digital.
Yeah, not Sumo Digital, but the ones who did.
It wasn't a cloud something.
No, because you said getting the team that did Saints Row, right?
Right.
Yeah. You see what they did with Saints Row, where they evolved it really to have them have like superpowers and things like that.
Saints Row 4 was probably
Volition.
Volition. That's it. They're more in line, I think, to make Crackdown. If anybody,
they would make a dope Crackdown.
Yeah.
They would absolutely make. But they'd have to be bought by Microsoft. Well, who knows? That could very well happen. Tom from Tsunami drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Jack and Daxter movie rumor. It's confirmed, brother.
It's confirmed. It's got Tom Holland,
but no game. Yeah, it's just
wait. So Tom Holland is going to be like
he's going to be
Daxter, or
he's going to be Jack and what was it? What's the name? Who played
Chris?
Mario?
Chris.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt.
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt is
Oh
going to be.
my
It's going to be.
goodness.
It's going to be
I
that.
thought that was
That's
like
not
a joke.
that's not a game anymore.
That's real. I thought
Yeah.
it was a
No,
joke.
it's real.
One
It's
letter
real.
and
It-
eight from
it's-
nine.
And if you do get a remake of the game, it's probably going to star them two actors again.
Listen. They
Wow.
should bring that back. That's a
Think about
fantastic IP,
I
an
agree.
unbelievable
Love
IP.
that series.
Out of all
Love it.
things,
Hey,
to make out of that
Resistance
IP,
2,
a
they got to
movie,
bring it back.
Yeah. No,
Resistance.
listen, we'll see what happens. I'd love to see a lot of old IP come back for Sony.
Uh-huh.
Smokey drops a
calm.
very generous $5 super chat and says, the biggest disappointment about Starfield is that I can't be a part of Boom's Interstellar SWAT team. That would be. But listen, I'm telling you right now, the online aspect of Bethesda, they're working on a secret project. I don't care what anyone says. And this is not revelation. They're working on a multiplayer Starfield. There's no doubt about it. It's maybe not coming out until next year, maybe even the year after that. But they are going to continue this. It's going to live in its own world, single player, and it's going to have a multiplayer aspect to it. I am freaking telling you, they're working on that right now.
Actually, Boom, it's already out. It's called Everspace.
I mean, that's true.
Sorry.
But it's. I mean, you can say No Man's Sky as well. A lot of people, equating that, but this is its own thing, and I can't wait. Dreadful, let's get your hot take on the importance of this game. How big is this game going to be, and more importantly, how big it's going to be for Xbox?
It's huge. Now, I've said it before. I mean, even earlier this morning, I was not interested in this game. This is how big this game is that it actually converted me to be interested in this game. Okay, so when you look at it, and it's the same thing as it was from its predecessors, but it's also not. It's also something new. It's a new experience, and just seeing how everybody's excitement is that are playing it right now. Even I threw it out on Twitter that my review copy is not dropping on the embargo date because I'm not playing it. You know what I mean? And people are like, you should be playing it. You should, I've been messaged that I should be granted permission to be playing this ahead of time because they wanted to see my opinion. I never drop reviews. My things are yay, nay, or meh, right? I don't like giving out numbers. And people are still interested on this piece of it, on other creators, on what they have to say about it. So there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of importance on this game. It's just the fact that we're going to be playing the same game and have different outcomes, different experiences. And we've talked about how we're going to be. If you go here, you know what? If you go to this planet, it might not be there because the events that led to this did not happen for you because you went on a different path.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. If you look at it, think about this in the grand scheme of things. Everybody's gameplay is a different timeline of this character. You are the same character, but we're all different people. We all have different interests, and this could be all these different parallel universes all together. And so we never know what we're going to run into. We may have the same experiences on a certain planet, because obviously we're all going to start off about the same. But after that, we are going to just go in our own directions. You talk about being Mr. Good Guy, and Neo Mento's talking about me Mr. Bad Guy. And that, to me, that's where I can't wait. I know it's not going to happen, but I still want it to happen. There's nothing wrong with that. It'd be nice if we could somehow meet our universes together and somehow play together, because I would love to see Boom try to take down Neo Mento as Neo Mento is outsmarting Boom. I think that would, the storyline there just between you two, even if it is just two people doing something like that, just the storyline about something like that would be great. I mean, me and Fuzzy racing, and here I am smashing my ship against his so I can hit that corner around the next light speed, that jump that we got to do. You know, something like that would be funny. I mean, we've talked about, you know, Forza Horizon, where they're saying that I ran them off the road and ran them into rocks where they weren't there. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff that could be so much better, but we don't know yet. And we don't know. And that's the thing about this as it is, without all this extra stuff that I want. We don't know what it's going to be like. And if people are automatically going, wow, this is, you know, this, and this is what we need to remember. This is a gamer's perspective. This isn't an Xbox perspective. You know, this isn't a pony perspective. You know, there is none of that. This should be a gamer's perspective, and just enjoy the game. And we go through there and we figure out, hey, you know what? If you do this, this creates this other thing. And that's how we communicate with each other. And it's like, oh, no way. I didn't realize that. I've been doing it the hard way. You know, and that's the community that Starfield will build around its own game, not nonetheless of the modders and what they will bring to it. So I'm just saying, it's going to be a huge game. It's going to be talked about for a while. And unfortunately, it's going to take a long time.
I mean, I think that if you put a good solid 40 hours into this game, you could, if you want to go to A to Z, you could probably do it. I mean, that's not how I'm going to play.
Who's going to do that? Who's going to want to speed run this?
Yeah,
that's true.
Is going to want to be able to say, yeah, I beat Starfield, and you know, I didn't. But again,
you're gonna have those. They're gonna try.
Yeah, sure. You absolutely are.
Starfield 4 hours. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I beat it.
Trash. I beat it in 4 hours. Immersive my cheeks.
You know what? Infinite Number. Let's bring you in on the conversation, brother. This is again, depending. I really think what's fascinating about this game is the unknown. Right, like this. I mean, we know it's a big Bethesda game. We know it's one of the biggest IPs to come out for the Xbox platform in over a decade. There's no doubt about it. How big of a deal do you think this is actually going to be ultimately when we all have this in our hands?
I think it's already shown how big a deal it is. I mean, you don't have so many people, you know, from a Post Malone to, you know, to other celebrities speaking on it if it's not reaching the masses. One of the things we
Zeitgeist, brother. Zeitgeist.
Absolutely. It has the potential to be that, and I think it will be, because we've said it already. We know Todd Howard and his main team, they put out generationally great games. This is going to be one of them right here. I think the thing is that, and we've spoken about this before, as far as not just the zeitgeist, but as far as what Starfield means for Xbox and how important it was that this game did launch properly and with as few bugs and all of those things, and you know, all the stuff that we've come to know Bethesda for. Right now, it's going to have bugs still. The game is way too big not to have it. Every game has it, but you know, will it be? Yeah, I don't know. Skyrim, your cart flies off into the distance when you get in. You know, when you start the game bad. I don't think so. And they put a lot of resources into this Microsoft. So I expect this to be really, really spectacular. But I think it's really big for a few reasons. Obviously, Xbox had a drier year last year, and this is a rebound this year. This is the first major AAA game that they're having launch into the service. And I think that matters a lot. And for the future of Xbox, I think it's a bit of a cultural shift, because typically we have the Halos to fall back on. Halos is getting back, is rebounding, is getting better. We've talked on that too, but it's not quite the powerhouse it was at this moment, right? Now, I'm not saying they won't get back there, but times change, as we know. You know, Call of Duty is the king now, but you know, to Microsoft's credit, they own that now too. But
indeed,
just saying, and then once Call of Duty starts hitting the service and goes into Game Pass, yes, that's going to be another thing. But Starfield matters so much because I think it will establish that promise that Phil made, you know, on delivering these monumentally great games into the service, and it really signifies Xbox as this new powerhouse, I think, if it lands the way it should. The thing I'm most excited about, I mean, everybody spoke on it, and as Dreadpool was just saying a second ago, I mean, like, the possibilities are, and you said it too, Boom, like the possibilities are endless. There's so much stuff that we can get into and do that all of us are going to have so many different experiences when we play this game. That's the thing I love about, Bethesda games from Todd Howard and team, is that they have so much that you can do that some of us will share similarities of, but it's so many options for us to choose and do what we want to do. We had the Q&A that came out the other day, and we heard
It was
stuff.
awesome, dude.
It was
awesome.
Yeah, it just really went into detail about how crazy in depth the game is. I mean, we see about the housing in cities and such. So you're gonna have one in every city. We know about that. You can opt to go to jail. It's a jail system here, and I'm gonna guess that there is a mission probably where you have to go to jail and do something to pass a mission. I'm gonna guess that because it gives you the option. I'm like, who's gonna choose to go to jail? I don't want to be bunked up with Bubba. I'm not, and try to drop the soap, the international soap, the interstellar. I ain't trying to drop the international interstellar soap in there. You know what I mean?
I heard Bubba's got tentacles. Watch out.
Yikes.
You sure look pretty,
Oh,
spaceman. But yeah, I mean, things like that are really dope, man. You see about the contraband system, you got the religious system in here, because they say that existing real life religions are a part of this. So I like how they're playing all of that and keeping it grounded in that way too, right? So, I'm going to say this one, and it's all love to them, but Scientologists might be in there. It might see Tom Cruise after all.
You never know, man. You just never know.
You all remember that rumor that Tom Cruise might be the lead protagonist that we would use? At first, we didn't know if we would actually get to create our character, but have him as the lead. That was, I don't know if you all remember that. That was years ago when they talked about that.
That was actually, I actually forgot about that, dude.
That's imagine that if he had actually got him in, you know what I mean, the whole religious thing with Scientology. I think
don't cut him out for DLC.
Yeah. What if they make him like some type of like fanatic or something?
Like a mission. Like a mission thing.
They got him as a fanatic, and part of the mission is you chasing after him running, because he has to run in whatever product he's in. He has to have a scene where he's running or something like that. So no, but like, I mean, things like that are really dope. I like we heard about, we got 20 named characters that we can add to our crew. It's like stuff like that is really dope. Dude. Yeah, that's really dope. And what I do hope is, as far as the crew thing goes, is that a lot of them have a lot of character, and I wonder how far that's going to go, because when I think of things like that, I think of Obsidian and how well they do with their characters, and they round them all out, and they all have their own personalities, and you get to actually like those characters. I'm wondering if Bethesda is going to do that with these characters here. It's just so much. It's so much possibilities, and this right here didn't cover everything. This is just the kind of a tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean? We got the mechs we're going to come across. As they said, they got a lot of buttons in Starfield. I'm excited to see how many buttons I can press. No, but I don't know, man. I'm really excited for it. I cannot wait to get on it. I'm jealous, incredibly jealous, and I don't get jealous. I'm jealous of those who are getting a chance to experience it right now. But the beauty of it is that we only have 2 weeks before we can get on it on September 1st. So I'm excited as hell, man. I think this is somebody want to answer their phone? No, I'm joking. So
I thought somebody got in the elevator.
No, but no, man. I'm really excited. I just hope that and as far as you talked about, as far as where this game will land, I'm hoping that the critics are fair. And I know it's sometimes when we speak on this, a lot of people say, or they might allude to, Xbox fans have a bit of Stockholm syndrome, where we feel like, oh, the media is against us, you know what I mean? And I can get how people can see it as ridiculous. I understand that, the tinfoil hattery. But I feel like the media bias, there has been a media bias against Xbox, and I think it's reasonably so, that as we can say, hey, are you all going to be fair? I think, though, and I said this on a tweet I made, I said, I think the gaming gods are going to smile on this property, and I think the game is going to be good enough where it's going to win over even those who want it to be negative. I think the game is going to score in the 90s. I upped my score, by the way. So I said 88 to 92. Now I believe it's going to be 94 to 96.
Nice.
Wow, kind of high up there.
Yeah, you know what?
Very
I was
high.
a 92 guy, and you know what? I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think 96, 97.
Oh,
is where
you
this
trying to
game is
outdo
gonna
me,
hit.
huh?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I
we're going
see.
numbers.
Up,
We're going
Tom
numbers.
did. Look, Tom from Toonami joined with you. Okay. All right. Oh, Tool man. All right. He said 98. Everybody's trying to outdo him together.
I'll go 100.
Remember,
Just to make it easier, 99.9. I'll leave it there.
only at $1.
My thing I'm wondering though is if it hits a 94, let's say, right? You got BG3, Baldur's Gate 3 that hit 97.
Yeah, 97, correct.
Super impressive. Super impressive. I do want to eventually
Very impressive.
get to it.
Yeah.
Do we think though that because of this, and I've said this before because people doubt it, and I had to bring this up again. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do it. Alex, you threw me on your little video and you mocked me when I said that Starfield, had some stiff competition with Zelda landing the way it landed. I think after we saw that 45-minute dive, we understand how big this game is going to be. That right there, I think, opened a lot of eyes up right there, right? So I'm wondering now with BG3 all but pushing Zelda right out the window and taking the place and mantle for Game of the Year. If this lands under a 97, which I'm guessing it will, let's say it lands in a 94. How serious can this be where they challenge for Game of the Year? Are they going to say, well, let's score 3 more points than Starfield, so Starfield can't win? How does that work?
I don't know. I mean, look, Baldur's Gate 3 is a phenomenon. Let's not be, fake about it. What that studio has done for the CRPG community is just rip the veil off. People are talking about a game Big Cloud is back. Let me just get him in here. He just popped out for a second. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't know how the Game Awards are going to be able to figure out the 6 combatants for Game of the Year.
It's going to be a tough one from this year.
It's
the only game that I could see being pushed is pretty much Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I said the same. I
think that one is the only one that's going to get pushed. Maybe Final Fantasy 16, and that's a maybe.
You say pushed as you mean push out?
Like it's not gonna be a contender.
Yeah, it won't be. It won't be nominated. It'll be
it's not
nominated for another category.
I can see that. I can see that just because of the controversy around it. I can see that. I said they went back.
They don't want to give Eli Roth any more attention.
Exactly. Yeah. You say Eli
Roth.
Yeah. Listen, well, look, let before we get on out of here, we got to welcome in Big Cloud once again. Big Cloud, let's get your hot take on this, because obviously you're one of the few Sony community members like Mr. Badbit that represent the brand in the best way possible. You give flowers where flowers are due. You celebrate gaming as a whole on your channel. This is the biggest game for Xbox in years. I would even dare say a decade. People, you can challenge me on it, but let's call a spade a spade. This is a Bethesda joint. This is mammoth. How big of a deal do you think this is for the platform?
No, hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. This is definitely the biggest game they've had in a long time. We're 2 months away, and Sony's got something to talk about. After that, there's really nothing. That's just reports or remakes of stuff that no one asked for. Last was Part 2. Who's excited to play
Horizon 1? Like
Horizon 1. I didn't ask for that. Yeah, I mean, it was like, who cares? And then on top of it, you got Rockstar giving you Red Dead 1. Don't get me started. Don't get me started with that. Don't get me started. So I'm gonna be honest. It's good to see competition doing better. That's all I want. I want competition. When you need when the competition floors, this puts more pressure on the opposite side. So the fact that this game is going to be probably one of the biggest games of this year, guess what it does? It tells Sony to really step it up when it comes to their multiplayer side of gaming. It's just that simple. A lot of people saying like, oh, they can't get the flowers. Oh, it looks bad. Oh, it looked bad. What about the last time you saw it? I'm like, see, this is where it's funny to me. The first time we saw it, yeah, the game looked rough because it was an early build. It wasn't ready. The second time we saw it, which was the final finished build, it looked 5 times better. And now you're getting all these better details. You're getting all these updates. And yeah, it's going to have bugs. Like Umbra said, I agree completely. It's going to have a bunch of bugs probably. But I mean, at this rate, it's impossible for games to have it at all. I mean, look at the whole controversy with Baldur's Gate 3, where developers are defending having poorly unoptimized games that they're charging this full price, if not $70 for. And this game's having no hiccups or launches. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the way the community needs to use their voice for the proper reasons instead of pushing agendas. It's bad enough 60 FPS is not a constant, as it should be with these next-gen consoles. It's bad enough you don't have performance modes for the modes that you care about for these next-gen consoles. But guess what? These same dudes are saying, oh, a new console, the Pro units are going to fix that. It's going to be the same thing across the board. Why? Because they know how to push you. They're going to make the game look pretty. You're going to jump in line. You're going to jump on Twitter, hype them up. And guess what? You're still going to be in the same bubble. So my thing is this, man. When Microsoft wins, PlayStation wins, we all win. Why? Because the other side has to step up. So I'm happy for y'all getting y'all Starfield. I already applied to get it early. I didn't get it, obviously, but we'll see. From Key Miller, I don't know. Maybe I get it there, but sorry for that. Again, it's good, man. It's a good time to be a gamer. Everybody wins.
Absolutely is, especially when you talk about the games that released this year. Like, I mean, I get it, folks. I know people cap for their brand, and that's cool. Like, if you're a PlayStation guy or gal, Xbox guy, gal, Nintendo person, it's cool. I get it. Represent your brand, but you cannot argue that it is really, really hard, specifically 2023, be like, I'm going to be a road warrior for X. You're crazy. If you are boxing out one platform because you pray to this box, you're crazy. Like, I don't care where you play.
We go at it.
2023 is loaded.
This is one of the best years for gaming. One of the best years.
I think it outdoes 2007, which is one of the most iconic years in gaming. And I think that 2023 is going to surpass it, and not by a pinch, by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it blows my mind how so many great games are dropped. Like, I was playing Trepang 2. I don't know if you guys played it. That game is phenomenal as well. It's basically Fear. It's like a new version of Fear.
What game is this?
It's called Trepang. Yeah, you ever heard that game?
No. Drop what it is, because you said Fear, and it's
basically Fear.
How do you spell? How do you spell that?
DM so I could take a look at this, because that sounds dope. We need a new Fear. I'd love to see Fear.
Send
I was gonna say you tripping because we
Mr. Joanna Dark was actually mentioning that to me recently. He was like, "Hey, you gotta check this out." If you
speaking of Mr. Joanna Dark, I put it into the chat. He gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming subscriptions, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity, Mr. Joanna Dark. Thank you, sir.
But yeah, like, games like that are flying under the radar, and people are more concerned about like raining on one side's parade. I just don't understand the mindset behind this at all. It's gaming. It should never be that serious. Me and Crispy Bomb go at it. What, Chris? Like 80% of the times I show up on the show, but it's jokes. I mean, people take it seriously. No, there's nothing serious. It's jokes. That's friends talking about gaming. The problem is, though, everybody thinks that's how everybody should just communicate over video games. The same, and I love it too. Like, in 2 months, again, my most anticipated game is about to come out, Spider-Man 2. But y'all remember, and I know Boom remembers this. The same dudes are hyping that game up, said the game didn't look that impressive when we saw the gameplay reveal. Now it looks amazing because you want to compare it to Starfield.
It literally looks amazing. Yeah.
I'm like, that's the thing. I don't understand what's the point. And so that's just where I'm at with the consoles. I don't even care about the Pro units. bigger fish to fry and talk about another piece of hardware. Microsoft's not even talking about a new piece of hardware. Why? Because they know they don't have to talk about a new piece of hardware. It comes down to the quality of the games. That's it. If you got a big quality game that's going to have people talking for the next 3 years, guess what? You're good. Sony has to wait for what? Fair Games? Fair Games is probably not coming until what, 2025? And then you got, what was it? Foam Stars, which is basically Splatoon ripoff. I don't think that's going to be it. So I don't know, man. The magnifying glass, I really do think people need to start using that magnifying glass in their own camp and see what you have in the pipeline. Because a lot of these first party games from PlayStation, once you beat them, you move on. You go to the next thing. And that's the facts. A lot of people don't sit here and play these games for years and years and pound in, especially if they're just single player games. They're not going to do it. They move on to the multiplayer, third-party games.
Why can't we have both? That's what I say all the time.
And
I've seen it too many times.
Be Infinite Umbra. Be a greedy gamer.
And this is where
Yes,
this is where games like SOCOM, like we talked about, like they're already making a TV show out of Jack and Daxter. No one asked for that. Just give it Jack and Daxter. You don't have Crash no more. You need to bring Jack and Daxter back.
I do.
You know what I mean? He needs to come back. Sly Cooper definitely needs to come back.
Dude, there are so
SOCOM.
many IPs.
SOCOM
SOCOM needs to be the first thing.
Yep,
You can make a TV show out of SOCOM, dude.
Bro, I would be all in. Make a TV show or a movie out of Resistance. You can't tell me that would be compelling television. I would be all over that.
I agree.
Make it dark and gritty like 28 Days Later or something. I'd be all in on that.
Resistance Fall of Man, one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games, right up there with Motorstorm, which that didn't come back.
Oh, Motorstorm.
Me?
I mean, they made a TV show. Is it a TV show out of Gran Turismo, or is that a movie? I forgot what it was.
That's a movie.
It's a movie. I mean,
it's doing really that good.
It's a movie.
Film.
I'm like, okay, so you're doing Gran Turismo.
Did he
why not
freeze?
Motorstorm? Motorstorm made more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen, I could say this. This is again. First of all, we had a monster panel. We're getting out of here on time, which is crazy hard to do. Everyone had amazing points. 2 hours or 2+ hours of great conversation. Sorry we didn't get into the Modern Warfare 3 stuff. I think I'm going to move that to Monday, and we'll talk about what's coming and how because I thought it was just going to be just like a port of sorts. It turns out it's actually going to be a pretty big deal. Starfield, obviously, everyone is excited for it. If you got a code, congratulations. And like I said, I've been checking my email and my I have a couple of business emails, and I'm like, yeah, it's not in there yet. Maybe over the weekend. You just never know. And like I said, if they're giving it out in tiers, which is I kind of think that they're doing, maybe Double Barrel Gaming gets it. Trust me, you'll know if I get it. I just won't be able to reveal anything of the game because I'll be under embargo. But whether I play it early or whether I play it on the first, like everyone else, I'm going to be doing a full in-depth review. It's going to be a review in progress. I'm going to be updating my playthroughs, and I'm actually going to be doing some videos regarding Starfield. Because like I said, streaming 5 days a week is tough, and adding videos on top of that is even tougher. But for Starfield, I'm going to do it, and we'll see what happens. But let's get to the outros and get everyone out of here. Eternal Shaddai making his debut on Double Barrel Gaming. Sir, it was great to have you on. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself enough to come back at another time. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about the Xbox International podcast. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Okay, people can reach me on Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. The same thing as you see here on the screen. You can find me on the Xbox. Yes, I have been doing podcasts with you. Boom. Remember, Good Morning Xbox with Noof.
Yes.
So I done with Scumcast with Luca and a lot of people also. Actually, I do podcasting in Espanol. So Silent Cypher deal with the English part on Wednesdays, and later on today it is my turn to do the Xbox International and Espanol for Spanish speaking. Everybody's welcome, and it's gonna be tonight at 7:00 Eastern time for Pacific. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. Actually, this is a great experience. I wasn't expecting this. Like I said, I felt kind of small at the beginning, but other than that, I got so used to it. So great points from each and one of you. Thank you very, very much. Nice meeting everybody. Until next time.
Yes, well, thank you so much for joining us. Super appreciate that. And your brother from another, Silent Cypher, was also part of the Xbox International podcast with Crazy Lou and the rest of that team. Brother, sell your brand. Talk about the Xbox International podcast, where people can subscribe, where they can tune in to listen to it, and more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Boom, for having me on again. Thanks for tolerating my shenanigans.
Oh, no, your shenanigans is always welcome, kind sir.
Well, it's always fun to hang out with you guys. And yeah, like Boom said, you can catch us on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Xbox International, where I chop it up a little bit with Sour Blow, Crazy Louie, and Plume if he's not training or coaching some baseball. So that's
agreed.
he's a busy man. He's a busy man. But in all seriousness, check out Plume's content too, because he does his own channel and he's got a bunch of killer stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as where you can find me besides that, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place as Silent Cypher. I've got some new content coming up on TikTok here shortly, and I'm hoping to start doing some game streaming soon. So we'll see what we got coming. Maybe it'll coincide right with the Starfield launch. We'll see what we get.
Yeah. I think the Starfield conversation is going to be lasting. I think Twitch streamers this is going to explode on Twitch. Like, this is going to be a game that people will be watching for hours because of the unexpected nature of Bethesda's games, and because this is space, folks. There are 1,000 planets, some of which are procedurally generated, which means that you are not going to have the same experience as me. And I think that in itself is why this game it's already special. But the fact that the water cooler conversations that we're all going to have, whether it be on, social chats over Xbox, whether it be on podcasts, whether it just be over social media, are going to be so wild, and people are going to want to share their experiences. That's why this is already one of the biggest games for the Xbox platform in a decade. I would dare say this might be one of the biggest games in gaming in 10 plus years because of the nature of exploring and finding new things. Let's Infinite Umbra, sell your brand. You're going to be live tonight with Risk It for the Biscuit and that amazing crew on the Xbox International. I'm going to say Xbox International. Oh my goodness.
Feel special. I feel special.
It's our cross collab.
The Xbox Infinite podcast. Sell your brand. Obviously, you have The Fix each and every Thursday, which is an amazing show that you have you do with Daniel McGee. Talk about it, sell your brand, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Indeed. I mean, you all can reach out, but don't touch me on Twitter.
Especially if we drop the soap. Don't touch it.
The space soap.
Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the space soap.
Space soap.
He's going to be the one in jail. Watch.
I heard that space soap is powdered.
You will be blessed later.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so I mean, you all can find
Does it
me
light on
Twitter.
fire?
Even our haters apparently can find
He
us.
says a light on fire. Chris, you sit out.
Our haters apparently can also soon find us on Twitter. Apparently, they're getting rid of the block feature. What the heck, Elon? Anyway, yeah, you all can find me on there, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. The Fix, like Boom alluded to, yes, it's on Thursdays for us at 8 o'clock Eastern. We didn't have one the other day, unfortunately. I've just been fatigued, but we will bounce back next week. We got Gamescom. It's going to pop up. We'll have like 2 days, maybe 3 days actually worth coverage to talk about. So that should be good. And the next week after, of course, we got the launch of Starfield. So I want to try to do something special where we can maybe I'll do something like a bigger panel too, maybe to talk on our experience for it once we get like a good weekend or so of it in there. So I'll reach out to a few people and maybe some of you guys here on the panel if you would care to come through.
Absolutely. I definitely drop by for over the weekend. I could definitely pop in and give you my hot takes on it. Sure. Absolutely.
My day's off, so yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. I believe I still have my brother C Money who is supposed to join us for next week and we got a future show planned with him as well for like anime discussion stuff.
You know, it's funny. It's funny. I was gonna wait for this, but being that you mentioned it and he's here, he is officially joining the Xbox Factor podcast on a weekly basis. There, Mr. Umbra.
Nice.
T-Money is going to be joining us
Tuesday or
Tuesdays. Yes, Tuesdays.
Yay, there we go.
Every week starting this week. C-Money, shout out to him.
Yeah, nice.
Family now going to be a new member. Unfortunately, Retri is going to be leaving the show due to some, some personal things.
I didn't
know. So he's
that.
still going to guest every now and again, but we needed a fourth person in to continue to keep and I reached out to C-Money and he accepted. So as we're sad that Retri of course Game Pass _daily is going to be taking a step back, we're also going to have C-Money, who's exploded on the scene, stepping up. So it's going to be both sad and exciting at the same time.
Yes,
but
it's bittersweet for sure.
It is Retri, it is.
All love to him. I know he's going through what he's going through, him and his family. So condolences to our brother. Yeah, I'm sad to hear that, man. I didn't know that.
I mean, I was gonna wait for Tuesday, but you know what? We're talking about it live. You mentioned it, so here we are. And Retri's he will be guesting, folks. He'll be guesting on some of the other people's shows, as well as coming through on Double Barrel Gaming, potentially coming back to the Xbox Factor podcast as a guest in future episodes. But of course, we wish him the best, and of course, family first each and every time.
But and to I guess to get the silver lining, we do have money joining us. So all love to C-Money joining us too, and I hope all love to Retri and his family.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going anywhere. He's still going to be on the socials, but he's got to take it. It's a bit much for him right now, and he's got family first every time. But thank you for being here, Umbra. Super appreciate that. Crispy Bomb.
Absolutely.
Talk about it, brother. Where can people reach out to you on social media? And what else you got going on, kind sir?
At Chris Bomb on X now. We'll say that. And Chris Bomb 28 on Xbox Live. I just want to shout out Shadows for showing up randomly. Never been in the chat.
Shadows. Shout out to you, brother. Definitely appreciate you popping by. Yeah, man.
And I just want to say, if you are a Gears fan or you want to be a Gears fan or are interested, follow that man. Subscribe to his channel because he's approaching 100,000, and he has just brought out only Gears content for the past 2.5 years.
That's
and
awesome,
he will bring you the knowledge for Gears to help you when that Phoenix collection comes out, by the way. Other than that, Gaming Beyond the Box, Sunday, 7 p.m. Yes, I'll be there. I gave a crispy rant my first day, so you don't know what's going to happen there. Rated M for mature. Just saying.
Yes. A rated M rant. Everyone loves that.
But that's the way that I love it. And then, of course, back here on Breakfast with Boom. And I mean, God knows where I'll be throughout the week because we don't know what topics are coming up and what time I have off and who's going to drop out randomly. Love you, Boom.
Love you too, brother.
Love you all in the chat. We'll see you later.
Our good friend Dreadpool, I'm going to sell his brand for him. You can find him at linktree.com/Dreadpool, youtube.com/Dreadpool, Twitter @Dreadpool, TikTok @Dreadpool, hover.gg/Dreadpool. He's also a part of Gaming Beyond the Box with Wilmy Hood and Crispy Bomb, Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, he's back here each and every Friday on Breakfast with Boom. You have seen some amazing growth, lots of new subscribers, lots of channel traffic. Brother, talk about it, man. Where can people reach out to you on social media, and what else you got going on?
Well, as you've already set up all the above, just reach out. I mean, even just one person today in the chat told me to reach out to him last week, but I couldn't reach out to him because I didn't know what his Twitter was. So we just hooked up right now a little bit ago. So now I can communicate with them on certain things. So that's the beauty of this stuff, right? We grow and expand our reach with friends and other creators. So this is what we like, and this is why everybody here in the chat is family, So you guys here in the panel, you guys are all family, and that's the thing. That's why I got to thank each and every single one of you guys. Thank you to Eternal Shade, Silent Cypher, Infinite Umbra for coming on, and again, Bit Cloud for coming back for your little, I guess, a day for now, and we'll see when you come back again. But
Absolutely.
again,
Yeah, that's
so
excellent.
yeah, thank you all, appreciate it. And I'm still working on getting more Twitter content, some more YouTube content.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 3 more Breaking Breads in the works that are already recorded that I just got to get edited. So it's like there's a lot of stuff going on you guys don't realize. And as you heard me earlier in the morning, I was exhausted. It's because of you that I do all this stuff for my family, and you guys are part of my family. So again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you being here, especially after the workload that you've had this week. It's been tough, but we appreciate you being a part of today's show. Fuzzy Belvedere, sell the brand of the best place for anything and everything in the racing genre. And of course, you're going to have your hands full, not only with Starfield, but keeping up with the Forza Motorsport content. And we'll all be playing that in October. Talk about it, sell the brand. Where can people subscribe? And more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Oh, just want to start by thanking you for having me on today and having some awesome guests on here and having BitClout return for with us for this episode. I want to thank everybody in the chat for watching us and taking your time, and don't forget the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to check us out. For those that want to hear my endless rambles or rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter, at fuzzy_Belvedere, or on YouTube, because I'm working on some YouTube video or Forza Motorsport videos. So just search for Fuzzy Belvedere, either one word or Fuzzy_Belvedere. You'll be able to find my channel. For those that want to see additional shows I'm on, check out Xbox Ultimate later on tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fun Speculations channel. PTK Blam's channel on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then hope to see you right back here, 12 noon, for Xbox Lunch Break Special on Double Barrel Gaming. Look forward to seeing you guys there.
Looking forward to that. I'm already working on that show, if you could believe it, because there's a lot. I mean, obviously, the shows become so big that sometimes you just can't get to everything. And last and no way least, BitCloud Gaming, one of the best places for PlayStation content. And he keeps it real, or like the kids like to say, he keeps it a buck. Sell your brand, BitCloud. Talk about the best place for PlayStation related content, and where can people check you out on social media?
Well, I mean, it's always a pleasure, to be here and talk to everybody. So good to see everybody on the panel. Eternal, good to meet you. Cypher, always nice to see you on here. And of course, first time seeing Fuzzy on camera. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
First time seeing him on camera. So, okay, here we go. Obviously, my brother Crispy, Dreadful, and of course, you, Mr. Boom. I appreciate y'all. As far as where you can find me today, now I know I've been gone, but during my vacation, I've been in talks with PlayStation, and I have a big interview today. So today I'm interviewing Brock from God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok.
Dude.
He's live on the channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to come through, ask Mr. Robert Craighead, who plays the character, live on the channel, some questions, feel free to come by. It's going to be there live. I will be taking everybody's questions. Just keep in mind, we're going to be very, we're going to be very smart about this, how we ask. I don't know how much I could ask.
Very professional.
PlayStation. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you got to ask them about the upcoming game. You heard about that, right?
Oh yeah, I know it started production supposedly. Yeah. So that's another thing. It is going to be interesting to see how he plays, how he goes into these sequels if he does return. I think he will in some capacity. But yeah, no, that's where you can find me. BitCloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Much love to everybody in the chat, and all of you be safe, man. If you guys are playing Starfield, enjoy. But on the real side of things, stay safe. At the end of the day, it's just video games. Yep. Enjoy your time with family, enjoy the time with friends like I am here on this panel, and I'll be blessed.
Yes, thank you very much. And of course, a big thank you to all of the super chats and new channel members. We cannot do this without the support of the community. And obviously the support comes the way of doing the big giveaways, and we have 4 monster giveaways starting in September, ending by the end of the year for the holiday. And we are going to be giving away in 4 shows, folks, over $3,500 worth of prizes. That's right. You heard the number, $3,500 worth of prizes in 4 shows over the course of starting next month. 1 in September, 1 in November, and 2 really big bombs for December, one of which is going to be the holiday show, which we have done since I started YouTube. And this year, like last year, we're giving away $1,000 that show. And then, of course, we're going to be doing a very special launch show for Stalker 2 and Mrs. Boomstick and I, in order to help the team that has brought us what is looking to be one of the most graphically impressive games of the year out in Stalker 2. They've been obviously displaced since the Russian-Ukrainian war. They've even lost members that were developers that stayed behind to defend their country. Our small way of giving back to that team and making sure that they get paid is we're buying 15 copies. That's right, 15 copies at full price, and we are giving away every one of those copies to winners that are just going to be in the chat, and it's going to be your choice of Xbox or, of course, a PC. And we're not doing it the Game Pass route, folks. We are buying the copies for $76.43 and sending them to wherever you are. And, of course, that's $76.43 times 15. So just do the math. That's what we're giving away. And, again, we can't do any of those big giveaways without the help and support of the community. And, of course, I want to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day, folks, it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig, I can guarantee you you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.